The shelter's fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as Maya Robinson walked past rows of kennels, each containing a hopeful face pressed against chain link. She'd come here on impulse after another grueling week at the law firm, feeling the familiar emptiness of her downtown apartment waiting for her. That one's been returned 3 times, the volunteer said, pointing to a small terrier mix huddled in the corner of Kennel 7. Bella. She's difficult. Maya crouched down, studying the dog's wary amber eyes. Bella's coat was a patchwork of cream and russet, her ears perpetually alert despite her withdrawn posture. There was something in that gaze, not aggression, but a kind of exhausted resignation that Maya recognized in her own mirror some mornings. Difficult how? Maya asked. The volunteer sighed, consulting her clipboard. The Hendersons returned her after 4 days. Said she wouldn't stop barking. The Patels lasted a week. Claimed she destroyed 2 pairs of shoes and refused to be house-trained. And the Johnsons? She shook her head. They said she was stubborn, wouldn't listen to basic commands. Everyone says she's untrainable. Maya watched as Bella's ears twitched at the conversation, her body tensing further with each negative word. The dog wasn't stupid. She understood tone, if not words. Can I meet her? Inside the interaction room, Bella maintained her distance, pressing herself against the far wall. Maya didn't approach. Instead, she sat on the floor, cross-legged, and simply waited. She pulled out her phone and pretended to read, occasionally glancing up without making direct eye contact. 20 minutes passed. Then Bella took 1 step forward. Then another. Maya remained still, her heart rate surprisingly calm for someone who'd made no deliberate decision to adopt, but was clearly about to. When Bella's cold nose finally touched Maya's hand, it felt like a question more than a greeting. Maya slowly turned her palm upward, an offering without expectation. I see you, Maya whispered. You're not difficult. You're scared. The paperwork took an hour. Maya learned that Bella was approximately 3 years old, had been found wandering a highway rest stop, and had somehow survived at least 2 weeks alone before being picked up. No wonder she had trust issues. As they walked to Maya's car, Bella pulled against the leash, darting left and right, her anxiety palpable. Maya paused on the sidewalk, kneeling down again. Hey, she said softly, waiting until Bella's frantic eyes met hers. I'm not giving up on you. I don't care how long it takes. She wasn't sure if she was talking to the dog or herself. We're both going to figure this out. Bella's tail didn't wag, but her pulling lessened. It was a start. The drive home was silent except for Bella's nervous panting from the back seat. Maya had bought a crate, per the shelter's recommendation, but looking at it now in her rearview mirror, seeing how small Bella made herself, Maya wondered if maybe the rules everyone else had followed were the problem, not the dog. The first night was chaos. Bella refused to eat, paced circles around Maya's apartment, and at 2 a.m., released a howl so mournful that Maya's neighbor pounded on the wall. Maya found herself on the living room floor, exhausted, watching this small creature literally tremble with whatever memories haunted her. Okay, Maya said, abandoning the crate entirely. She grabbed a blanket and lay down on the hardwood floor, keeping distance between them. We'll start here. Bella stopped pacing, watching this strange human with obvious confusion. Maya closed her eyes, though sleep seemed impossible. But sometime around dawn, she felt warmth against her side. Bella had crept close enough that their bodies touched. When Maya opened her eyes carefully, the dog was already watching her, that same question in her gaze. Can I trust you? Work became complicated. Maya started coming home at lunch, unable to bear the thought of Bella alone for 9 hours. Her colleague Devin noticed the change immediately. You're distracted, he said, leaning against her office doorframe on the 3rd day. Devin Chun was a fellow associate, ambitious and sharp, with dark eyes that saw through most of people's professional masks. They'd been dancing around an attraction for months, neither willing to cross that line. I adopted a dog, Maya admitted, surprised by her own honesty. And she's been abandoned before. Multiple times. I can't just leave her. Devin studied her for a moment. Take the afternoon. I'll cover for you. Devin. Maya. His voice softened. Go. We'll talk later. At home, Maya found Bella had destroyed a throw pillow but hadn't touched anything else. She was hiding under the dining table, expecting punishment. Maya photographed the mess and then lay on the floor again, sliding a treat toward Bella. I'm not angry, she said. But let's figure out what you actually need. She started making notes. Bella barked most when sirens passed. She chewed when she'd been alone more than 3 hours. She refused to eat from the bowl, but would take food from Maya's hand. She pulled on the leash toward other dogs, but cowered when they approached. It wasn't disobedience. It was communication. Maya started responding differently. When Bella barked at sirens, Maya sat with her and described what the sound was, her voice calm and steady. When Bella chewed, Maya provided appropriate toys and spent 20 minutes playing before leaving for work. She hand-fed Bella for a week until the dog's trust grew enough to eat independently. The walks became their language lessons. Instead of forcing Bella to heel, Maya learned to read her body language. When Bella's ears went back, they'd stop until she felt safe. When she pulled toward something, Maya followed, discovering that Bella always led them to quiet places, away from chaos. 2 weeks in, Devin texted, "Dinner? I'm curious about this dog." Maya hesitated, then agreed. She'd been isolated so long, throwing herself into work to avoid the vulnerability of connection. Maybe Bella wasn't the only one who needed to learn trust. Devin arrived with Thai food and sat on her living room floor without being asked, understanding intuitively that Bella wouldn't approach someone on the furniture towering over her. "So this is the famous Bella," he said, setting his container down and waiting. Bella approached slowly, sniffing his outstretched hand. To Maya's shock, her tail gave a tiny wag. "You smell like sesame oil," Maya laughed. "Secret weapon." Devin's smile was warm as Bella accepted a gentle scratch behind her ear. "She's beautiful and clearly smart." They ate on the floor, talking about everything except work. Devin shared that he'd grown up with rescue dogs, that his mother always said the broken ones taught you the most. Maya found herself describing her childhood, her parents' messy divorce, the way she'd learned early that love often came with conditions. "Is that why you're so good at contracts?" Devin asked, his tone gentle, making sure everyone's terms are clear up front. "Maybe." Maya felt exposed but didn't pull away. Less room for disappointment. "That's exhausting, though." He shifted closer, and Bella, remarkably, didn't retreat. What if someone just showed up? No contracts. The air between them changed. Maya's heart pounded as Devin's hand found hers between them on the floor. "I don't know if I'm good at that," she whispered. "Neither am I." His thumb traced circles on her palm. "But watching you with Bella, the way you're learning her language instead of forcing yours, maybe we could try that." The kiss was soft, questioning, exactly what Maya needed. Bella watched from her bed, and Maya could swear the dog looked satisfied, as if she'd orchestrated this entire moment. 6 weeks after Maya adopted Bella, something remarkable happened. The dog smiled. Maya was working from home. Bella curled in her now-favorite spot on the couch beside Maya's laptop when a notification pinged. Bella's ears perked up, and when Maya laughed at the message from Devin, a terrible pun about legal briefs, Bella's mouth opened, tongue lolling in what could only be described as a grin. "You think that's funny?" Maya asked, and Bella's tail thumped. It was such a small thing, but Maya found herself crying. This dog who'd been labeled untrainable, stubborn, broken, she was joyful. She just needed someone to see past the fear. Devin had become a regular presence in their lives. He never pushed, never demanded. He simply showed up, consistent and patient. He brought coffee on Sunday mornings, stayed late on Friday nights when Maya worked on difficult cases, and always greeted Bella before Maya, understanding somehow that earning the dog's trust mattered more than anything else. "You're good with her," Maya said one evening, watching Devin teach Bella to high-five using positive reinforcement. They'd discovered Bella was incredibly food-motivated once she felt safe, and her intelligence shone when learning was framed as play rather than obedience. "She's a good teacher." Devin looked up, his expression serious. "She's teaching me how to be patient with someone I care about." The implication hung between them. They'd been dating for a month, but neither had defined it, both carrying their own histories of failed relationships. "Devin, Maya started, but Bella suddenly barked, her alert but not alarmed bark that meant someone familiar was near. Maya's neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, was at the door with her grandson, Tommy, who was maybe 7. "I'm so sorry to bother you," Mrs. Patterson said. "But Tommy saw you working with Bella in the courtyard last week, and he hasn't stopped talking about it. Would she let him pet her?" Maya glanced at Bella, whose tail was wagging tentatively. "Let's ask her." "Come in, but move slowly." Tommy entered with surprising gentleness for a child. He sat on the floor without being told, and Bella approached him with curiosity. Within minutes, she was showing off her new tricks: high five, spin, even the beginning of play dead that Devin had started teaching her. "She's so smart," Tommy exclaimed. "Mrs. Patterson said people gave her back because she was bad." "She was never bad," Maya said firmly. "She was scared. There's a difference. When we're scared, sometimes we do things that seem wrong to others, but really we're just trying to protect ourselves." Tommy nodded solemnly. "Like when I hide in the bathroom at school because the other kids are mean?" Maya's heart clenched. Exactly like that. And Bella needed someone to understand that she wasn't being bad. She was asking for help the only way she knew how. After they left, Devin pulled Maya into his arms. "You're amazing, you know that?" "I'm just." "Don't." His lips brushed her temple. "Don't minimize this. You saw something no one else did." And Bella, "Yeah, but also." He pulled back to meet her eyes. "I think you're starting to see it in yourself too." That night, after Devin left, Maya sat with Bella on the couch, the dog's head heavy on her lap. She thought about the woman she'd been 2 months ago, so buttoned up, so defended, working 70-hour weeks to avoid the silence of her own company. Bella had cracked something open in her. The dog's transformation was obvious, from terrified to playful, from reactive to responsive. But Maya's own transformation was equally profound. She'd learned to read signals instead of forcing outcomes. She'd discovered that patience wasn't weakness. She'd allowed Devin into her carefully controlled life and found that vulnerability didn't destroy her. "You saved me too," Maya whispered to the sleeping dog. "You know that." The next day, Maya did something unprecedented. She left work at 5 o'clock. She and Devin took Bella to the dog park, where she'd once been too anxious to enter. Now, Bella played with a golden retriever named Max, her joy so pure that other dog owners gathered to watch. "Is that the dog from the shelter?" one woman asked. "The one the Johnsons returned?" Maya nodded. "She looks like a completely different animal." "She's not," Maya said simply. Everyone else just wasn't speaking her language. As they walked home, Bella trotting confidently between them, Devin reached for Maya's hand. "Move in with me." Maya stopped walking. "What?" "Not immediately. Not tomorrow. But—" He gestured to Bella, to the sunset painting the street gold, to the life they'd been building in small moments. "This works. You work. We work. I don't want to waste time being afraid of that." Maya's first instinct was to list all the reasons it was too soon, too risky. But then Bella tugged on the leash, pulling them toward home, toward Maya's apartment that had become their space. And Maya realized that sometimes the bravest thing wasn't protecting yourself from pain. It was choosing connection despite the fear. "Ask me again in a month," she said. "Let me get used to the idea." Devin smiled. "That's not a no." "It's definitely not a no." 3 months after adoption, Bella became a minor celebrity in their neighborhood. It started when Tommy's mother, inspired by Bella's transformation, adopted a rescue dog of her own, a Pitai mix named Bruno who'd been in the shelter for 8 months. Maya found herself giving impromptu training advice on the sidewalk, explaining her philosophy: listen before you command. Understand before you correct. "You should do this professionally," Devin said one Saturday morning, watching Maya demonstrate to a small crowd how Bella had learned to settle instead of bark at skateboards. "You have a gift for this. I'm a lawyer, not a dog trainer. You're someone who sees potential everyone else misses." He kissed her cheek. "Sounds like you should use that more." The comment stuck with her. That week, Maya pitched a pro bono project to her firm, helping shelter dogs become more adoptable through basic training and behavioral assessment. To her surprise, the partners approved, seeing it as good PR. Maya started spending Saturday mornings at the shelter where she'd found Bella. She brought Bella with her, a success story with 4 legs. Together, they worked with the dogs everyone else called difficult. There was Rex, a German shepherd who lunged at other dogs. Maya discovered he was actually playbowing. He'd never learned appropriate social signals. Within 3 weeks, Rex was adopted by a family with 2 other dogs. There was Pepper, a beagle who howled constantly. Maya realized she was mourning. Her previous owner had died. Maya spent hours just sitting with Pepper, letting her grieve. Eventually, an elderly widower adopted her, and they mourned together. There was Diesel, a mastiff who terrified everyone with his size. Maya learned he was deaf and had been punished for not listening his entire life. She taught him hand signals, and he became a therapy dog for a children's hospital. Each success felt like proof. There were no bad dogs, only misunderstood ones. Devin watched her bloom. She laughed more now, stressed less, found purpose beyond billable hours. Their relationship deepened naturally, like water finding its level. They spent weeknights at Maya's apartment, weekends at Devin's house with its bigger yard. Bella adjusted to both spaces with ease, proof that security came from people, not places. One evening, Devin cooked dinner while Maya worked with Bella on a new trick. They'd started teaching her to bring tissues when someone sneezed, just for fun. Devin sneezed theatrically, and Bella pranced over with a tissue box, clearly proud of herself. "Show off," Devin laughed, accepting the box. Then, more seriously, "I love you." Maya's hands stilled on Bella's fur. They danced around those words for weeks, both knowing but neither saying. "I love you too." The words came easier than expected. "I didn't think I could do this. Be this." Be what? Happy. Open. She gestured to the domestic scene. Devin in an apron, Bella sprawled between them, dinner filling the apartment with warmth. "I thought I was too damaged. Too defended." Devin crossed the room and knelt beside her. "You were never damaged. You were protecting yourself until you found people worth the risk." They kissed, deep and slow, Bella's tail thumping approval beside them. Later, in Devin's bed, their intimacy carried new weight. This wasn't just attraction anymore. It was trust earned, brick by brick. When Devin's hands traced her skin, Maya didn't flinch from vulnerability. When she gasped his name, there was no embarrassment, only joy. Afterward, tangled in sheets with Bella snoring from her bed in the corner, Devin propped himself on one elbow. "Move in with me. For real this time." Maya had known this was coming. They'd been functionally living together for weeks. "What about my lease? What about it?" His smile was patient. "Maya, I'm not asking you to give up anything. I'm asking you to add something. Add me. Add us." She thought about her apartment, clean, controlled, lonely before Bella. Then she thought about Devin's house with its garden where Bella played, its big kitchen where they cooked together, its porch where they drank morning coffee. Okay. The word felt like jumping off a cliff, thrilling and terrifying. "Okay, yes." Devin's kiss was jubilant, and Bella, disturbed by the commotion, jumped onto the bed to investigate. They ended up in a pile. Three beings who'd found each other against odds, creating something that looked remarkably like a family. The next morning, Maya posted a photo on the shelter's social media, Bella mid-jump, catching a frisbee, pure joy captured in motion. The caption read, "Returned 3 times for being difficult. Now lives her best life. Don't give up on the hard ones. They're often the most worth it." The post went viral. Local news picked it up. By Tuesday, Maya's phone was flooded with messages from people who'd adopted problem dogs and were struggling. She found herself offering advice via email, video calls, impromptu training sessions. "You're building something," Devin said, watching her respond to yet another message. "Something bigger than you planned. I just want to help." "I know. But Maya, you're good at this. Really good. Maybe it's time to think about what you actually want to do with your life." The question haunted her. She'd become a lawyer because it was stable, impressive, lucrative. But working with these dogs, seeing their transformations, feeling the gratitude from their new families, that fed something in her that corporate law never had. What if she'd been like Bella all along, just following rules that didn't fit her true nature? 6 months after adopting Bella, Maya stood before the partners at her law firm and quit. Well, not quit exactly. She negotiated a transition to part-time contractor status, maintaining some income while building her real dream. "You're starting a dog training business?" Senior partner Roberts looked baffled. "You're one of our most promising associates." "I'm starting a rehabilitation program," Maya corrected, "for shelter dogs and the humans who adopt them, teaching communication instead of domination." She'd named it Second Chances, and Devin had helped her create a business plan. They'd use his house as headquarters, converting his garage into a training space. Maya would work with shelter dogs pre-adoption and offer support to adopters afterward. She'd also consult with shelters on behavioral assessment, helping identify dogs' needs before they were labeled unadoptable. The first month was terrifying. Maya's lawyer's salary disappeared, replaced by modest training fees. But word spread quickly. The local news did a follow-up story on Bella, featuring Maya's new venture. Within weeks, she had a waiting list. Devin supported her completely, never questioning the financial risk. Some people take decades to find their calling, he said. You're lucky, Bella showed you yours. Working with the dogs was fulfilling in ways Maya had never experienced. There was Jackson, a hound mix who'd been returned for excessive crying. Maya discovered he had separation anxiety triggered by specific sounds. She taught his new owner gradual desensitization, and Jackson thrived. There was Luna, a husky who'd destroyed everything. Turns out, Luna was brilliant and bored. Maya introduced puzzle toys and agility training, and Luna became a competition dog. There was Oscar, a senior chihuahua everyone overlooked. Maya matched him with a retired teacher, and they became inseparable companions. Each success reinforced Maya's philosophy. The problem was rarely the dog. It was the mismatch between dog and owner, the failure to communicate across species lines, the human tendency to demand obedience without offering understanding. One afternoon, Tommy and his mother brought Bruno for a follow-up session. The Pitai who'd been shelter-shy was now confident and playful, demonstrating perfect recall and even some basic agility skills. You changed our lives, Tommy's mother said, tears in her eyes. Bruno's changed Tommy too. He's less anxious at school, more confident. Having something depend on him, trust him. Maya understood. Bella had done the same for her. That evening, Devin proposed. Not with a grand gesture, but in their garden, with Bella at their feet. Marry me, he said simply. Build this life with me. Fully, legally, forever. Maya looked at the man who'd shown up with Thai food and patience, who'd learned alongside her, who'd supported her wildest career pivot without hesitation. Yes. The kiss was sweet and familiar, tasting of the future they'd already begun building. Their wedding, 3 months later, was small and perfect. Bella served as ring bearer, trotting down the aisle with the rings attached to her collar, hamming it up for the crowd. Maya's vows included a promise to keep growing, keep changing, keep choosing courage over fear. Devin's vows included a promise to always see her, really see her, the way she'd seen Bella. At the reception, Mrs. Patterson made a toast. To the dog who saved the woman who saved the dog. To the power of second chances and the courage to take them. Afterward, alone in their hotel room, Maya and Devin made love with the intensity of people who'd chosen each other consciously, deliberately, against the grain of their own fears. When Devin touched her, it was with reverence. When Maya said his name, it carried the weight of commitment. I can't believe this is my life, Maya whispered later, Devin's arms around her. Better than corporate law? So much better. She turned to face him. You know what Bella taught me? That being difficult isn't the same as being broken. Sometimes it just means you're in the wrong environment. Sometimes it means you're waiting for someone who speaks your language. She taught me too, Devin said. She taught me that the best things take time. That patience isn't passive, it's active love. Back home the next day, Maya found an email from the city's largest animal shelter. They wanted to hire her as a consultant, implementing her methods system-wide. It was more than she'd dreamed, a chance to impact hundreds of dogs, maybe thousands. She called the number immediately. By the end of the conversation, she'd negotiated a contract that would let her keep her private practice while training shelter staff, creating assessment protocols, and advocating for dogs who needed specialized placement. You did it, Devin said when she told him, spinning her in a circle while Bella barked excitedly. You actually did it. But Maya knew the truth. She hadn't done it alone. Every step had been guided by a small, stubborn dog who'd been waiting for someone to understand her. Bella had shown Maya that transformation wasn't about becoming someone different. It was about becoming who you'd always been underneath the armor. That night, Maya wrote in the journal she'd started keeping. Asterisk, a year ago, I thought I was rescuing a dog. I thought I was being charitable, giving a difficult animal a chance. How arrogant. Bella didn't need rescuing. She needed witnessing. She needed someone to see her fear as communication, her stubbornness as self-protection, her resistance as intelligence. She was never broken. She was waiting for her person. And in teaching me her language, she taught me my own. She showed me that vulnerability isn't weakness. That asking for help isn't failure. That sometimes the bravest thing is admitting you don't have all the answers. Everyone walked away from Bella except me. But really, I'm the lucky one. Because in staying, in learning, in listening, I found everything I'd been missing. Purpose, partnership, peace. We saved each other. That's the secret no one tells you about rescue dogs. The rescue goes both ways. Asterisk. Below the entry, Maya taped a photo. Her and Devin and Bella, all three laughing in the garden, joy evident in every line of their bodies. The image captured a truth that Maya carried with her now into every shelter, every training session, every consultation. Sometimes one person's patience can change everything, not because they fix what's broken, but because they see what was never broken to begin with. Bella, curled at Maya's feet while she wrote, let out a contented sigh. Tomorrow they'd train more dogs, help more families, spread more second chances. But tonight, they'd simply be three souls who'd found each other against odds, proving that the hardest transformations often yield the most beautiful results. The rescue went both ways. It always does.